guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Big Brother Brian Baird here. So, coming up, the power veto meeting takes place, a game of telephone gone wrong, ruins a friendship, and another edition of The Outside View. So, we got a lot to cover. I got like a page and a half of notes here. So, let's begin. Last time we found out that Bailey won head of household and nominated Brett and Rachel with her target as Brett. So, Fezzi and JC are kind of talking, and Fezzi tells JC that Bailey was about to nominate JC and that it's thanks to Fezzi that JC isn't on the block, which is true, but typical JC denies the fact that that's true and can't accept the fact that Fezzi is right and JC's wrong. But we find this new cockiness within Fezzi that JC notices, and JC's not a big fan of it. And we'll talk a little bit about that more later. But first, Tyler says that if he wins the veto, he'll do anything that Bailey wants with the veto, which is not really true, but he wants her to think that he's working with her. But while they're talking, Bailey has this inkling that maybe Tyler is the other person who has the power app. At this point, two more people have power apps. It's Bailey and Tyler, but Bailey doesn't know who the other person is, and she thinks it might be Tyler. So she's going to drill him until he confesses, but Tyler is not giving into it at all. He's going to make sure that nobody finds out that he is the person that has the second power app. So JC finds out about Fezzi's new cockiness that he has, and he goes up to Bailey to talk about it with her. And JC says, you know, Fezzi told me that you were gonna put me on the block, but thanks to Fezzi, I'm not. And Bailey's like, honey, that's not true, and she is not having it. She does not want anyone thinking that anybody controlled her nominations. The only person who controlled Bailey's nominations was Bailey. So she goes downstairs, wakes up Fezzi, and says, look, you're taking things way too out of proportion, calls him out on that. And Fezzi's like, I didn't do anything. I never told JC anything. So now Fezzi's caught in a little bit of a pickle. So Rachel does not want anyone from level 5 to go home, which is both of the nominees. So Rachel knows that Bailey's target is Brett, and she wants Bailey to find another target so that all the people from level 5 can stay this week. She tries to tell Bailey that, you know, if Brett goes home this week, I'm gonna become public enemy #1 because I'm a really big target. And Bailey reassures Rachel by saying, oh, you're not a target. She just low-key told Rachel that she has not done anything in this house and no one really cares about her. And at this point, Bailey is pissed off at Rachel. She's like, you walk in here, you talk about yourself, you're freaking out, and you freaking out is making me freak out, and I don't want to freak out. And Rachel's just like, and just walks out of the room. She doesn't know what to do. Bailey is not having it with anyone. The feisty flight attendant is coming out once again. So now it's time to pick players for the veto, and Sam, JC, and Tyler are all chosen by random draw. So Tyler is now nervous that if he wins, he's definitely going to piss someone off. If he uses the veto, he'll piss off Bailey, but if he doesn't use the veto, he's going to piss off his own alliance. So we'll see what happens. So now it's time for the POV competition, and of course Tyler wins the veto. So now he's guaranteed to upset someone. I'm not really quite sure where his head is at. So Tyler and Bailey talk about, you know, the upcoming veto meeting and what Tyler should do with the veto. And Tyler says to Bailey, if I use the veto, you're gonna put up Angela. And Bailey's like, yeah, bad wording, awful wording. Because now both Bailey and Tyler think that the other person wants to put up Angela. Tyler doesn't actually want to put up Angela. He thinks that Bailey wants to put up Angela, which is why he threw the name out. But Bailey now thinks that, oh, well, Tyler's the one who's suggested that I put up Angela, which means Tyler probably wants me to put up Angela. So it was very unclear, and it leads to this telephone that goes wrong, and it ends up breaking up a relationship. And we're going to talk about that right now. So, beginning the telephone line. Rachel comes into the head of household room and hugs Bailey. And Bailey, you know, after they had their feud, Bailey is, you know, not having it with Rachel at this point. She rolls her eyes twice during the hug. She's so pissed off at Rachel at this point. But she does tell Rachel if Tyler uses the veto, he wants me to put up Angela, which isn't true. She interpreted it that way. So now Rachel believes Bailey and is now upset with Tyler at this point because now she thinks that Tyler wants to put up Angela. So Rachel goes and tells Angela about what happened, and Angela's not happy. So now Angela tells Casey about what happened, and now Casey's not happy. So now it looks like all of level 5 is super mad at Tyler at this point. But then Angela and Casey realize, wait, that makes no sense. And they say, what if Rachel just made that up just to get us mad at Tyler? And then all of a sudden, they turn their anger towards Rachel. and now they're mad at Rachel, and they think Rachel is just full of crap. Casey talks to Tyler about what Angela told her, about what Rachel said, about what Bailey said, about what Tyler said. So now Tyler's like, oh my gosh, that's not what I said. So now he needs to go do a ton of damage control at this point. So Tyler goes and talks to Angela and says to Angela, Casey told him that you told Casey, that Rachel told you, that Bailey told Rachel, that I told Bailey that I wanted you to go up as replacement nominee. And he's like, I didn't. And Angela believes him, but now she's like super mad at Rachel at this point. So while Rachel and Angela are talking, Angela tries to deflect the conversation because she doesn't trust Rachel anymore. But Rachel tells Angela about Bailey's power of being able to make the nominations even when she's not head of household. And so now Angela tells Tyler, and all of level 5 eventually finds out about Bailey's power. So we'll see what that means. So now it's time for the veto meeting, and Tyler chooses not to use the veto. At first I was like, that's a stupid decision because you could have just pulled off one of your 2 alliance members. But then after thinking about it, I realized that if he pulls off one of his members, Bailey would probably put up Angela and they would still have 2 members of level 5 on the block. But by not using the veto, he doesn't have to piss off Bailey, and he gets the least amount of blood on his hands. So that's that. We now have 2 members of level 5 on the block. One of them is guaranteed to go home, and that means that level 5 will once again downgrade to level 4. So before we go, it's time for the outside view. This one is not a very interesting one. I'm trying to save the interesting ones for later on so that they can get better and better. But this one also has to do with Kaitlyn. There's really no story to this. It's just kind of happened. Kaitlyn said the N-word. She was quoting a song by Drake. She said, quote, I did go 0 to 100 real quick. That's what she said. She was quoting a song. It just kind of slipped out. And I was like, okay, you know, you didn't really mean it in an offensive way. You just kind of let it slip out. Oops. But she did not apologize afterwards. And she was actually warned the day before, along with every other house guest. CBS told the house guests the day before this happened to not say anything derogatory or use any racial slurs because it could be offensive. And then Kaitlyn the next day goes ahead and uses a racial slur while quoting a song. First of all, you're not supposed to be singing songs in the Big Brother house for copyright reasons. Second of all, you were just warned about using the N-word, and then you go ahead and use the N-word. You can look into that. I may or may not link a video if I remember down in the description box below. The live eviction takes place tomorrow night, live at 9/8 Central, only on CBS, hosted by Julie Chen. That's it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.